My name is Cassandra Verruso, and I'll be your instructor today as we do our sealant module. The first step in placing a sealant is gathering the correct materials. To place a sealant, you would need a prophy angle. In this case, I'm using an occlusal brush, but a regular prophy angle would work fine as well. We have our pumice. You need an explorer and mirror, your curing light, your sealant material, and your acid etch. In terms of isolation, it could be kind of operator's preference. In this case, I do have some cotton rolls as well as dry angles and a cotton roll holder and some gauze. And then for after sealant placement, you'd be looking to get articulating paper, floss, and a fluoride varnish to apply after. So today we'll be using a dry bond sealant. So dry bond sealants need to have complete isolation while being placed, as there can be no saliva contamination or it will affect the seal. So the first step is to isolate the tooth. In this case, I have cotton rounds that will be blocking the tongue as well as the cheek to help create a dry surface. The first step will be to just lightly blow air on the tooth surface that we're going to be doing. Today we'll be doing tooth number 18. So you dry the air slightly, and you're going to place your etch material. You're going to apply it all over the occlusal surface of the tooth, making sure you're getting it into the grooves. Alright, and this acid etch will stay on the tooth for 30 seconds. After the etch has been applied for 30 seconds, you're going to rinse it off with water, making sure to be suctioning the area for an actual patient, as the etch itself can cause some burning of the cheeks. Alright. After the tooth has been thoroughly washed, it might be a good idea to replace your isolation materials, as you may have gotten wet. So I have brand new cotton rolls here to help, again, keep the tooth nice and dry. And you're going to blow a ton of air onto the tooth until you start to notice the enamel have a white chalky texture. On this model, we will not get that same effect, but you want to just thoroughly dry the tooth, making sure the whole area remains dry. All right, after the tooth has been properly dried and you see that white chalky texture to the tooth, you want to then apply your sealant material. Now, this sealant material is light cured, so you want to make sure that you are moving fast as it will begin to set. You're going to place a small amount on the top surface of the tooth, and then using your explorer, you're going to make sure that it fills in every groove of the tooth, making sure to get either the lingual or buccal pit as well. If you do end up placing too much sealant material, it is good at this stage to take just a cotton tip and just dab off the extra sealant material, as you do not want it to affect the patient's bite. At this point, once you removed any air bubbles and everything like that, you will take your curing light, and this sealant material cures for 30 seconds, and then you will check the margins. Make sure at this time you either have your patient wearing proper safety eyewear or tell them to close their eyes or look away. And as the operator, make sure that you are looking either through this orange light or you have the orange glasses. All right, once the tooth is cured, you're going to take your explorer and you're going to check the margins to make sure that the material is completely cured. And so you want to check underneath every single margin, making sure that you cannot pull up any sealant material. Again, you want to be a little rough at this point because you want to make sure that any unopened or unsealed margins are found now. After that is done, if you need more time to cure, go back in with the light. If not, you can remove the isolation material, and at this time it is good to give a patient just a quick rinse to remove any sealant material or taste in their mouth. After this, you want to go and check the patient's occlusion. So you have them bite down on the articulating paper, making sure to not see any bites, which we could do here with the model. You have the patient just bite down as if they normally would, give it a good kind of biting motion. And in our case, we do not have any of that dye on our sealant material, so we know that it is out of occlusion. Afterwards, it is also proper to go through with some floss to make sure that no sealant material got into the interproximal space. So you're making sure that the floss can again pop through each side nicely and is not catching. And finally, the last step in this case would be to apply a fluoride varnish to the tooth. I will not actually apply it to the typodont, but it is always best to go through with fluoride after placing a sealant, as that etch can demineralize tooth structure, so you want to build up that remineralization with the fluoride.